Hey guys, how's it doing today? I'm out here today in Hong Kong. It is a beautiful 65-degree weather. Check out the skyline. I'm filming right here in Victoria Harbor. It is a beautiful day today, in spite of everything that has been going on the news lately, and that is what today's episode we're going to be talking about. Hey everyone, how's it going today? Alright, so today we're going to be talking about a little bit more of a unique topic. We're going to be talking about the coronavirus situation and what it's like. And even though it's a little bit different than what I normally make, a little bit of a switch from like my normal self-help, self-development, improvement talk videos, it is something that's very, very relevant today in the world. So that's kind of why I feel like it is very, very important to share, especially because right now as I'm recording this, I am actually in Hong Kong, and I was in China not that long ago either. I was actually in Guangzhou specifically. So thankfully not Wuhan, but nonetheless I was in China, and then I came over to Hong Kong. I've been in Hong Kong for about 2 to 3 weeks now. Basically came here like right when the coronavirus came in. I think I remember the first day that I came into Hong Kong. I don't remember if the corona started yet, but if the corona was already going on, there might have been maybe just like 1 or 2 people that had corona, so it wasn't a very, very big thing right now. As of right now, as I am recording this, today is Friday, February 14th. 12:57 a.m. midnight, and as of this time I'm checking on my record and it says that the corona, there's currently about 60,410 cases of corona, 1,370 deaths, 6,290 recovered, and so many crazy. And specifically in Hong Kong, which is where I'm at, there is currently 53 cases, I believe. It's a little bit blurred. Oh, well, here it goes. 53 cases of the coronavirus currently right here today. So 60,000 people is obviously a lot of people. That's a very legit number and a very, very serious thing. That is why I have a mask on and everyone has a mask on, and we're going to be talking about what it's like currently today. So the best way to really describe Hong Kong right now is that it's just a very, very different place. For me personally, I've been to Hong Kong many times, probably maybe at least 8 times over the years. I do have family here, and that's actually why I'm even here right now. Otherwise, personally, I'd actually prefer to be in the States. But with that given said, you know, I had a family emergency situation that kind of gave me an urgent reason to have to come here today. So now that I am here, and in spite of all the coronavirus, if you've been to Hong Kong before in the past, right now is a very, very different time period, certainly compared to all of the previous years. This is also the first time that I've actually been in Hong Kong for Chinese New Year, which is very, very crazy because I normally celebrate Chinese New Year back in the States. So compared to all of the past days, what's been really different is I was here for Chinese New Year, and even though this is the first time I've ever been to Chinese New Year, I've seen so many footages and videos about it over the years, and this is actually really the first time in Hong Kong, certainly in many years, where they canceled so many Chinese New Year celebrations. It was actually very, very depressing. And as someone that celebrates Chinese New Year almost every single year, basically back in the States, I have to say that compared to a lot of the clips that I've seen in the past, I actually think that Chinese New Year was probably more vibrant in America than it was in Asia, which is very, very crazy this year, because I was expecting that because I came to Asia this year, I was going to have a massive celebration. Now granted, when I came to Asia, coronavirus wasn't really a big thing yet, so I didn't realize that that was going to be happening. But the first thing that really talk about is that here in Hong Kong right now, the coronavirus has basically made Chinese New Year celebrations totally quiet. The usual stuff that you normally see, like the fireworks, crazy celebrations that normally happen, the dragon dance, everything was very, very quiet. And it was a very, very saddening sight to see, to realize like this is how we're spending Chinese New Year today in the actual land, Asia, you know, on the other side of the world, where it's supposed to be one of the biggest holidays of the entire year in Chinese Asian culture. It's crazy. So the second thing that you're really going to notice if you come to Hong Kong today, and especially even more true China, but even Hong Kong, is that there's been an incredibly insane necessity of having to wear masks. And I know that for me personally, even when I personally got here and didn't even use a mask, there would be times I would go to stores and literally just buy like a soda, and literally the cashier would just come up to me and say, "Kid, yo, where's your mask, dude? Do you know how dangerous it is? 现在很 you know, 你要小心, all that kind of situation. So it is very, very crazy right now. And you'll notice if you walk around Hong Kong today, you'll find a lot, like almost every single person. It's actually pretty insane. Like I'd say 90% of every single person walks around in a mask. That it's almost peer pressure, basically, regardless of whether you think it is or not necessary or they're overdoing it. You'll find that compared to all the times in the past, 90% of the people today in Hong Kong right now are walking around wearing masks. Everyone from younger people to adults, even indoors. People are wearing masks inside, in hotels. They do take it off for restaurants. That's probably the only time I really see people, because obviously you're not gonna eat food with like a mask covering your face, you know what I mean? But everywhere you go, whether it's outside, indoors, store owners, cashiers, at my local 7-Eleven, every single person is wearing a mask right now. The second thing that I've really noticed that's very, very different about being in Hong Kong right now is really just the level of tourism. And I think it's very, very noticeable that if you do come to Hong Kong today, there are significantly less people, less tourists, less activities, basically just less of everything that's been going around. It seems like every single person is just staying inside. And it's crazy because the weather's so beautiful right now. You know, it's 65 degrees outside. You know, this is perfect. Whereas back at home where I'm from in New York City, it's like 35 degrees to 45 degrees and it's cold. And I heard, you know, it's probably snowing in Chicago or something like that, which is really crazy. But I've also noticed that another huge thing about being in Hong Kong right now is that it's also just incredibly quiet. Like everywhere you go, you'll see like a lot of empty stores. Don't get me wrong, like if you go to like a lot of crowded places like Tong Wan or I think it's called Causeway Bay, Tong Wan I mix up the Chinese and English names. You'll notice that unless you go to a lot of those places during like rush hour, and even then, like compared to the past, if you've ever been to Hong Kong before 2020 basically, which is this year, but even especially before 2019, before the Hong Kong protests, everything has happened, it's noticeably getting quieter and quieter, I feel, with every single time that I've come to Hong Kong now with everything that's been going on. There are less people in the shops. It's actually very depressing, and it kind of reminds me a lot about like when the economy crashed in America back in New York City, and you started to see so many different stores like Comp USA, Circuit City, all of those stores like slowly closing down, and it's a very depressing sight to see. Maybe a little bit more just a little bit random, I think, is that I've also noticed that, and I guess this makes sense, is that there's also a lot less physical contact. You know, I know that back then, you know, I would sometimes, you know, go to like a meeting of some kind or run an errand or go to the bank, for example, right? And we would like shake our hands or say hello, or if it's a, you know, like a very friendly face, we might even give each other a hug. But today, I think it's because of the corona, people are also a lot less physical to each other. You're not really going to get too many handshakes. People are just going to wave, keep their distance, and it's understandable. It's reasonable why it is. But nonetheless, it is a difference. And I think probably the final way that I think it's really all of the corona stuff that's really impacted Hong Kong right now is really just the emotional level. I think that it's put a very massive emotional strain on a lot of the people in Hong Kong and China and Asia in general. A lot of businesses have started to go very quiet. They've been shutting down, and it's made a massive impact to the economy even in Hong Kong and China. And I have a very huge prediction actually, and I think it's going to be a very interesting video. I'm hoping to try to make a video talking about why I think the economy or the Great Recession is really going to come soon because of all of the incidents with China and Hong Kong, and about why China is just, it's such a important country, and I'd say it's probably one of the most important countries when it comes to the world of just keeping a very strong economy. And I feel like by what's going on with China today, it's really going to destroy the economy around the world. But that's going to be a video, and for next time, if that is something of interest, subscribe. I know even if you're not someone who follows economics, I do think it's a very interesting thing to just know in general, just for your own knowledge. And so definitely check it out, subscribe, so that you can get notified, and hit the bell notification button also next to the subscribe button. So yeah, you'll get notified if that thing comes out, and you can learn more about this topic. So hopefully this paints you guys like a picture of what it's really like to be in China/Hong Kong right now, with about maybe 3 weeks to about a month since like the start of really building up the coronavirus situation. It's been very crazy, and it's been very depressing actually, because it's the first time I've also been to Hong Kong on Chinese New Year, you know, and ever since that, you know, that I showed up here, you know, everything from seeing like stores closing down, businesses closing down, you know, Chinese New Year canceling celebrations on the most important holiday of the entire year. I mean, it kind of makes you think, like, can you imagine if New York City canceled Christmas celebrations and you went to Rockefeller Center? I don't know what holidays you guys celebrate, but it is a very, very massive holiday. If you're someone who grew up like in the Asian culture and you celebrate Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, anything like that, it's big, you know, and it's very, very depressing sight to see. Tourism is definitely a lot less active. People are selling masks all over the place. Every single person is really just keeping to themselves. It's become a lot less personal, you know, everyone's wearing masks now. I should be wearing my mask right now, but I'm not, because I'm just taking a risk so that you guys can see my mouth as I'm talking on this camera right now. But hopefully this paints a better picture. I hope the world gets better and, you know, the corona situation heals itself. But I'll be honest, I don't think it will be. In fact, I'm not even sure if I don't even think they found a cure yet, and every single day it's multiplying and multiplying. I remember, I think like just 2 weeks ago on the news, it said there was about 8,000 cases of corona, and right now there are 60,000 cases. Like, that is insane to think about. But, you know, for everyone, wherever you are around the world, thank you so much for watching this. I could make this video in Chinese, but I'm gonna make this in English, you know, just because most of my audience all speaks English. So thank you guys so much. Stay safe. Happy Chinese New Year, happy Lunar New Year, even though I know that was about 2 weeks ago. It's never too late to say this, better now than never. And yeah, keep thriving, guys. Thank you so much.